I love TF2, but it's an old game. All the hip young whippersnappers on the scene today get regular content updates, actual competitive scenes that aren't a fractured, broken mess, and don't have a 10-year history of updates and changes to slog through. Because of that, a lot of stuff tends to get missed in TF2. So, here's the 5 TF2 updates we need, ideally in 2018. Maybe 2019 at a stretch, provided the last surviving members of the TF team haven't been consumed by the more aggressive Dota 2 predators in the Valve ecosystem by then. For number 1, Man vs. Machine. Jesus, it's been a while since we killed robots. MVM has been supported all of this time, most recently with the addition of the Jungle Inferno weapons. The Gas Passer is pretty lit. You see what I did there? But there's been no new tours or maps in MVM for years. The last actual tour was added in 2013 with the 2 Cities update, which is bloody awful when you think about it. It's been 4 years. If you're one of the persistent few that's been grinding for that golden cooking utensil all of this time, then I feel sorry for you. Who hurt you? Why are you still doing this? But seriously, you need some new maps to play on. It's been a long time. Number 2, the casual mode end of round map vote. Imagine you walk into Subway to order a delectable 12-inch meatball marinara footlong with sliced Parmesan cheese on crisp Italian loaf. And then your sandwich maker turns to you and says, "Psych, here's a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken." This is the current state of casual mode. When you finish a round, you get to vote for the next map. This is pretty harmless, except the next map isn't necessarily the game mode you queued for. Down for a night of payload with the lads, visiting such classic locales as Upward, Borneo, and dare I say, a cheeky round of Gold Rush? Well, tough shit, you're going to 2 for it. Wow, thanks casual mode. It's absolutely absurd that this happens. What's the point in choosing the game mode you want if the server is just going to inevitably gravitate towards capture the flag maps anyway? The end of round map vote should be restricted exclusively to maps of the same game mode. This enables people to play the game mode they actually want to play. If you want to change the game mode then, you can requeue yourself. Don't drag everyone else into it. Oh, and speaking of requeuing, number 3, competitive matchmaking. Oh boy. Do you remember when the introduction of competitive in-game matchmaking was supposed to be the thing that would single-handedly save TF2's competitive scene? Do you remember the backlash from competitive folks following the Meet Your Match update that called us casual players of the game idiots for not understanding the significance of this update to TF2's lifespan? Do you remember people actually using in-game competitive matchmaking? The implementation of in-game competitive TF2 has been a complete joke. The vast majority of competitive TF2 is still handled by external leagues. There is very little incentive to play competitive TF2 using the in-game systems. There are no rewards beyond a completely arbitrary rank. There are no prize pools, there's long load times, and there's no motivation to actually play it. The implementation of competitive in-game matchmaking is, in my eyes, the objectively worst thing that has ever been added to Team Fortress 2. It has achieved nothing, it is broken, and it remains to be neglected and forgotten to this day. It desperately needs to be fixed. I'm going to be very blunt here and express some harsh words, but quick play didn't die for this broken piece of shit. Competitive TF2 is wonderful and important and very significant to the future life of TF2 as a game. It gets us mainstream media attention when crowds show up at places like Insomnia, when you hear of all these wonderful stories at LANs of people coming together, united across the planet to play this old hat-based shooter. But this is not how you do it, Valve. And apologies to some comp fans, find that quite upsetting to hear, but that's the harsh truth. In-game comp is shit. Ah, Jesus, Daniel! I can hear your house on fire. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm grand. Just laying on the heat tonight. Jesus! Has anyone got a 100-foot long towel I can use? Maybe put this out. And while my house continues to burn around me, inventory management at number 4. Here's one for the traders I would love to see. As of December 21st, 2017, you can now possess up to 3,000 slots worth of inventory space. Now Valve always thinks that adding more inventory space is the solution to releasing more and more items for you to collect. There's more stuff in the game, you need more space for it. But the problem has never been space, it's organizing that space. Currently there's only 5 filters to arrange your backpack, and the search bar's functionality is quite limited. It only checks for an item's name and description and doesn't consider quality and other factors. I could just search Australian weapon, just Australian as a tag in its own, and it's going to ignore a whole bunch of stuff in my backpack. It's just the way it is. This results in a lot of flipping through pages of items ultimately, which is quite tedious. And God forbid you want to organize your inventory beyond those 5 filters. Good luck dragging each item individually by hand. Jesus Christ, we'll talk to you in 4 years. Instead of allowing you to use more backpack expanders, I believe Valve needs to add item folders. These could work the exact same way as expanders and offer 100 additional item slots, but they manage the space a lot easier. It's just like folders on any PC. You could have a folder for your weapons, your keys, your crates, your misplaced dreams and ambitions. And it would be great on space. And finally, number 5, and the most important of the lot in my opinion, the new player experience. TF2 is an old game that has a lot going on. There's a lot of content here and a surprising amount of difficulty. Techniques such as rocket jumping, trimping, flare jumping, and knowing that the medic is a class that exists within the game that you can play. These techniques can take years to master. Now we're lucky because we've been playing a while and we've learned all of these things through experience, but the new player isn't going to be geared up for this in the same way. If we look at TF2's tutorials for a moment, these tutorials prepare the new player for the exciting world of tomorrow, that is 2007. There are only 4 class tutorials available. Anything beyond the vanilla game is excluded, and critically, none of the newer systems of TF2 are explained in any capacity. Did you know, for instance, that you can rent items from the TF2 shop to help you practice new weapons before you commit to purchase or craft them yourself? Fair play if you did, but the new player isn't going to know that kind of thing whatsoever. In fact, they're not going to know much of anything. They're new. And God forbid they learn how to play and experience the game through the bot matches that have been designed for offline practice, because the AI for those is horrifically outdated at this point, and also suffers the same problem where it's complete stock. Everything is vanilla. There is nothing new since 2007. Wait just a gosh darn minute. Upward was added in 2010. Oh, so they added this later. Then why is it all vanilla? There's been custom new weapons since this point in time. I'm not gonna question this, but that's an oversight. Now, there are over 100 weapons in TF2. There are alternate playstyles such as the Demo Knight, mechanics with high skill ceilings, and the mere existence of Hydro as a game mode. All of these things can be scary to the new player. The vast majority of resources for the new player are now outdated and in need of some newer materials. Case in point, the button on the main menu for the new user forums, that doesn't take you to the new user forums. The new user forums are gone. I don't know when they were removed, but they're no longer there. They just redirect you to general Steam discussions. Not even for TF2, exclusively. There's now no reason for this button to exist anymore. It should either be removed or renamed. It's kind of like the old promo code button. It's just a relic of a time gone by, and no one's really questioned it. Because you can now pick up weapons within TF2, I think a practice range could greatly help new players. Give us a map with every weapon lined up on a table and some targets for us to take potshots at. This would allow the new player and veteran alike to practice at their own pace and not worry about competing with other players. Yes, things like TR Walkway exist, it's a designed practice map, but the new player isn't going to be aware of this. It has to be something in-game and official, otherwise it's just more scary stuff in a brand new game. TF2 isn't intimidating at first glance, but it's deceptive. It's quite surprising how complex the simple hat-based cartoon shooter game is when you tear on into it. And we want to be as accommodating to new players as we possibly can, because they're always welcome. It's a breath of fresh air. It's new people arising at the scene, new figures that could rise in our community as years go on. You never know. It could even be as simple as someone discovering a new way to relax and unwind at the end of the day. Let's take as much heat and stress off them as we possibly can, and accommodate them and welcome them into the game. Let them experience the magic we did back in the day. And there you have it. Those are the 5 things that I think need to be changed in TF2. There's certainly more things here that could be discussed, but these are the 5 I've decided to focus on. You're welcome to agree, disagree, or burn me at the stake alive for having the audacity to share my opinion on the internet. And Happy New Year to everyone as well. This is the first thing we've done for 2018. God, it's been a whole year since I've seen anyone! And because of that joke, it'll be another year before I see anyone again. Thank you so much for watching, folks, and see you in a new video next week.